Welcome to Psychology of Human Behavior and Social Intelligence Mastery. This audiobook is your guide to understanding why people act the way they do, how emotions shape our choices, and what makes some people better at building relationships than others. You will learn how human behavior works, why social intelligence matters, and how you can develop the skills to connect with anyone, anywhere. Across these chapters, we will explore the science of behavior, the secrets of communication, and the power of empathy, persuasion, and emotional intelligence. The goal is simple: to help you see people more clearly, to help you understand yourself better, and to give you the tools to build stronger relationships at school, at work, and in life. So get ready to discover the fascinating world of human behavior. By the end of this journey, you will not only know more about people, you will know how to connect, influence, and grow in ways that make life richer and relationships stronger. Chapter 1: Introduction to Human Behavior and Social Intelligence. Human beings have always been curious about why people act the way they do. From the earliest days of history, philosophers and thinkers asked big questions about life, love, and relationships. Why do we feel happy when someone smiles at us? Why do we feel nervous when speaking in front of a group? Why do some people make friends easily, while others struggle to talk to strangers? These questions led to a field of study called psychology, the science of the mind and behavior. At its heart, human behavior is everything we do, say, and feel. It includes the words we speak, the choices we make, the way we walk, laugh, or even stay silent. It includes the emotions we feel inside and the actions we show on the outside. Understanding behavior means learning to read the story behind every action. A smile may show happiness, or sometimes hide sadness. Silence may mean shyness or deep thought. Human behavior is like a language, and if we learn this language, we can understand people better and connect with them more deeply. Psychologists believe behavior comes from a mix of two main forces. The first force is nature, the things we are born with. Our genes, brain chemistry, and personality traits shape part of who we are. Some people are naturally outgoing and talkative, while others are quiet and thoughtful. Some are born with quick tempers, while others stay calm under pressure. These differences come partly from our biology. The second force is nurture, the environment we grow up in. Our families, schools, friends, cultures, and even the events we experience all influence the way we behave. A child raised in a loving and supportive home often learns to trust people and express emotions openly. A child raised in a stressful or unsafe environment might grow up feeling anxious or cautious. Psychologists now agree that both nature and nurture work together. We are born with certain traits, but our surroundings shape how those traits develop. One of the most interesting things about human behavior is how much we learn from watching others. A child sees an older sibling praised for helping with chores and starts helping too. A teenager watches friends being confident in social situations and slowly becomes more confident as well. This is called observational learning. It means we do not learn only from our own mistakes or successes, we also learn by watching what happens to other people. Behavior is also influenced by rewards and punishments. When a student studies hard and earns praise, the student is likely to keep studying hard. When someone is teased for making a mistake, they might stop trying in the future. This process is called conditioning. It shows that our surroundings do not just teach us facts, they also shape how we act, feel, and even what we expect from life. But human behavior is not just about learning rules or copying others. It is also about emotions. Think about the last time you felt nervous before speaking in class. Your heart beat faster, your palms felt sweaty, and your mind raced with thoughts. That was your body reacting to fear. Now think about the last time you laughed so hard that you could barely breathe. That was happiness taking over your whole body. Emotions guide much of what we do, often more than logic or reason. This is where social intelligence comes in. Social intelligence is the ability to understand and manage relationships. It is not the same as school intelligence or IQ. A person might be great at solving math problems, but find it hard to make friends. Another person might not be top of the class, but knows exactly how to cheer up a sad friend or bring people together in a group. That second person has high social intelligence. Social intelligence helps us read emotions, notice unspoken signals, and respond in ways that make people feel understood and valued. People with high social intelligence usually make friends easily, handle conflicts better, and work well in teams. They know when to talk, when to listen, when to give advice, and when to simply be there for someone. The good news is that social intelligence is not something you either have or do not have. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned and improved. In today's world, social intelligence is more important than ever. Technology lets us send messages across the globe in seconds, but many people feel lonely or disconnected. Knowing how to read emotions, build trust, and create real relationships is a skill that can change lives. It can help you at school, at work, with friends, and even in your family. When you start understanding human behavior, you begin to notice things you never saw before. You notice the difference between a real smile and a polite one. You hear the emotion in someone's voice even when they say they are fine. You see the way people choose words when they feel nervous or excited. These small signs carry big meanings, and social intelligence helps you read them. As you listen to this audiobook, you will learn not just theories but practical ways to use this knowledge. You will discover how first impressions work, why empathy matters, how to handle conflicts, and how to connect with people in deeper ways. Each chapter will take you further into the world of human behavior and give you tools to understand people and yourself better. By the time you finish, you will see relationships differently. You will know why people act the way they do, and how to respond in ways that build trust and respect. You will be able to connect with classmates, friends, co-workers, and even strangers more easily. And as you grow in social intelligence, you will also grow in confidence, empathy, and leadership. This first chapter is only the beginning. Ahead, we will explore how social intelligence shapes our lives, how emotions guide behavior, how persuasion works, and how you can develop the habits that make relationships stronger. Each chapter will lead naturally to the next, so you can listen smoothly, like one long conversation about what it means to be human. So get ready to explore, to learn, and to see people in a new way. The journey into human behavior and social intelligence has just begun, and what comes next will help you understand the people around you and yourself better than ever before. Chapter 2. How Social Intelligence Shapes Our Lives. As you move through life, you quickly notice that some people seem to have a natural way of connecting with others. They walk into a room, and within minutes, they are talking, laughing, and making everyone feel comfortable. Others may be just as smart or talented, but they stand quietly on the side, unsure how to join the conversation. What separates these two groups is often not intelligence in the usual sense of grades or test scores. It is something called social intelligence, the ability to understand people, read emotions, and interact in ways that build trust and respect. Social intelligence is like the secret ingredient that makes relationships work smoothly. It helps you figure out when to speak and when to listen, how to comfort someone who is sad, how to encourage someone who feels nervous, and how to work as part of a team. Without social intelligence, even the smartest people can feel lost in social situations. With it, even people who are not the best students can become leaders, friends, and people others look up to. In school, social intelligence shows up in many ways. Think about the students who always seem to bring people together for group projects. They notice who feels left out and include them. They make sure everyone's ideas are heard. When conflicts happen, they help solve them instead of making them worse. These students may not have learned this skill from a book. Instead, they learned by paying attention to people, noticing emotions, and practicing how to respond kindly and confidently. At home, social intelligence helps families live together peacefully. A child who notices when a parent is tired and chooses to help with chores shows social intelligence. A parent who understands that a teenager needs space sometimes, but also needs love and guidance, shows social intelligence too. These small moments build trust and make relationships stronger. In friendship, social intelligence is what keeps people close over time. Friends argue sometimes, feel jealous, or get hurt by each other's words. Social intelligence helps people apologize when they are wrong, forgive when someone else makes a mistake, and talk through problems instead of staying angry. Without these skills, friendships break easily. With them, friendships last through good times and bad. Social intelligence also matters when you meet new people. First impressions happen in seconds. Before you even speak, people notice your body language, your tone of voice, and your facial expressions. Someone with social intelligence knows how to smile genuinely, make eye contact, and speak in a way that makes others feel welcome. They ask questions, listen carefully, and remember small details about people's lives. These simple actions make a big difference because they show respect and interest. In the workplace, social intelligence can matter as much as technical skills. Two employees might be equally good at their jobs, but the one who communicates well, works smoothly with teammates, and understands the boss's expectations often does better over time. Leaders especially need social intelligence. A boss who yells at employees may get short-term results, but people will feel stressed and unmotivated. A boss who listens, encourages, and gives clear feedback creates a team that works harder and enjoys doing it. Another way social intelligence shapes our lives is by helping us understand cultural differences. People from different backgrounds may have different ways of showing respect, handling conflict, or expressing emotions. Someone with social intelligence notices these differences and adapts instead of judging. For example, in some cultures, making direct eye contact shows confidence, while in others it may seem rude. Understanding these differences prevents misunderstandings and builds better connections across cultures. Social intelligence also helps in personal goals. Many opportunities in life come through people: teachers who recommend you for programs, friends who invite you to events, mentors who guide you toward careers. When you know how to talk to people, build trust, and maintain relationships, doors open. It is not about using people for success, it is about forming genuine connections where everyone benefits. Even mental health is linked to social intelligence. People who can share their feelings with friends or family often feel less stressed and lonely. They know how to ask for help when they need it, and how to support others too. On the other hand, people who struggle with social skills may feel isolated even when surrounded by others. Learning social intelligence can break that loneliness and create a sense of belonging. The best part is that social intelligence can be learned at any age. Children, teenagers, and adults can all improve by practicing. Simple habits like listening more than talking, noticing people's feelings, and responding with kindness build social intelligence over time. Reading books, watching how skilled people interact, and reflecting on your own behavior also help. But learning social intelligence is not about pretending or faking emotions. It is about genuinely caring to understand others. People can usually tell when someone is being fake. Real social intelligence comes from empathy, the ability to feel what others feel, combined with the wisdom to act in ways that help rather than hurt. As you think about how social intelligence shapes our lives, you may start noticing it around you. Watch the students who bring energy into a classroom, the friends who make everyone feel included, the leaders who inspire teams instead of scaring them. Notice how they talk, listen, and react. Behind those skills is social intelligence, quietly shaping every interaction. In the next chapter, we will look closely at one specific part of social intelligence: first impressions. You will learn why they matter so much, how they form in seconds, and what you can do to make a strong and positive first impression on anyone you meet. Chapter 3. The science behind first impressions. Every time you meet someone new, something interesting happens inside both your mind and theirs. Within just a few seconds, each of you starts forming an opinion about the other. You notice their face, their eyes, the way they stand, the tone of their voice. Without even thinking, your brain begins to decide whether this person seems friendly, confident, nervous, or trustworthy. This quick judgment is what we call a first impression. First impressions happen fast, often in less than 10 seconds. Our brains have evolved to make these quick decisions because long ago humans needed to know quickly whether someone was a friend or a threat. Even today, when we meet someone new, our minds still react this way. We look for clues in their appearance, expressions, and body language. Sometimes these clues are accurate, but sometimes they can be misleading. Psychologists have studied first impressions for many years. They found that people tend to trust faces that look open and friendly. A genuine smile, eye contact, and relaxed posture often make someone seem warm and approachable. On the other hand, a tense face or crossed arms can make someone seem distant or unfriendly, even if they are simply shy or tired. Our brains read these signals quickly, long before we have time to think carefully. Another interesting thing about first impressions is something called the halo effect. This means that if someone gives us one positive impression, like being well-dressed or polite, we often assume they have other good qualities too, like being smart or kind, even without proof. The opposite is also true. If our first impression is negative, we may assume other bad qualities as well. This shows how powerful those first few seconds can be. But first impressions are not just about how we look. They are also about how we make others feel. People remember emotions more than words. If you make someone feel respected, safe, or appreciated during your first meeting, that feeling will stay with them. Even a simple gesture, like smiling or using a friendly tone, can leave a lasting mark. Of course, first impressions are not always accurate. Someone might look serious because they are thinking deeply, not because they are unfriendly. Another person might smile a lot but not actually be trustworthy. This is why psychologists say we should not rely only on first impressions to judge someone completely. They give us clues, but we need time to the full person. Still, first impressions matter because they often set the tone for relationships. If you start with warmth and respect, people are more likely to open up, listen, and respond positively. In schools, teachers often form first impressions about students in the first few days. In workplaces, job interviews rely heavily on those first moments. In friendships, the first meeting can decide whether people feel like talking again or not. The good news is that you can improve the first impressions you give. Small habits make a big difference. Standing up straight, making gentle eye contact, smiling naturally, and speaking clearly help you appear confident and friendly. Listening carefully and showing interest in others makes them feel valued. These habits do not require pretending or acting fake. They simply help you show your real self in the best way. It is also helpful to remember that other people feel nervous too. When you meet someone new, they are wondering what you think about them, just as much as you wonder what they think about you. Showing kindness and understanding can make both of you feel more comfortable. Cultural differences also play a role in first impressions. In some cultures, direct eye contact shows confidence in others. It may seem disrespectful. A friendly handshake is common in some places, but not in others. Being aware of these differences shows respect and prevents misunderstandings. First impressions are powerful because they connect psychology, emotion, and social intelligence. They show how quickly our minds work and how much we depend on signals beyond words. As you become more aware of this, you can control the signals you send and read the signals others give more accurately. In the next chapter, we will go deeper into the role of emotions in human connection. You will see how feelings like empathy, fear, and joy guide our behavior and shape the relationships we build. Emotions often speak louder than words, and understanding them will take your social intelligence to the next level. Chapter 4: Emotional Intelligence and Human Connection. When we talk about understanding people, it is impossible to ignore emotions. Emotions are at the center of human behavior. They guide our decisions, shape our relationships, and influence the way we see the world. Even when we try to be logical, emotions are always there in the background, pulling our thoughts in one direction or another. Emotional intelligence is the skill that helps us understand these feelings, both in ourselves and in others, so we can respond in ways that build stronger connections instead of creating distance. Emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness. This means noticing what you are feeling in the moment. Many people react to situations without even realizing what emotions are driving them. A student might snap at a friend without understanding that the real cause is stress about homework. A parent might yell about a small mistake when the real reason is exhaustion from work. When we fail to recognize our own emotions, they control us. Self-awareness gives us the chance to pause, to think, and to choose our actions instead of being pushed around by feelings. Emotional intelligence also involves empathy, the ability to feel what someone else feels. When a friend is sad, empathy helps you imagine what it is like to be in their place. You may not have the same problem, but you can understand the feeling. Empathy allows you to comfort them, to say the right words, or sometimes to stay quiet and simply be there. People feel closer to those who truly understand them, and empathy builds that closeness. Another part of emotional intelligence is social awareness. This is the skill of reading the emotions of a group, not just one person. Imagine walking into a room where everyone is laughing and talking. You can feel the energy immediately. Now imagine a classroom where everyone looks tense and serious. Social awareness helps you sense the mood of the room and adjust your behavior. A teacher with social awareness knows when students need encouragement and when they need quiet focus. A leader knows when to push a team harder and when to give them rest. Relationship management is the final piece of emotional intelligence. This is where all the other skills come together. If you know your own emotions, manage them well, feel empathy for others, and understand social situations, you can build strong relationships. You can resolve conflicts calmly, inspire people with your words, and make others feel valued and respected. Relationship management turns emotional intelligence into action. Emotional intelligence shapes human connection in countless ways. Think about a time when you were upset and someone noticed without you saying anything. Maybe they asked if you were okay or offered to help. That small act made you feel seen and cared for. Now think about a time when you were upset and someone ignored you or criticized you instead. The difference between those two experiences is emotional intelligence. People with high emotional intelligence often have better friendships because they understand what their friends need. They know when to cheer someone up, when to give advice, and when to simply listen. They make people feel safe sharing their feelings without fear of being judged. In families, emotional intelligence helps parents and children understand each other better. It reduces arguments and builds trust. In workplaces, emotional intelligence can matter as much as technical skills. A manager who understands employees' emotions can motivate them better than one who only gives orders. Teams with emotionally intelligent members handle stress, deadlines, and disagreements more effectively because people feel respected and heard. Even in everyday life, emotional intelligence changes how we experience the world. Someone with low emotional intelligence might get angry in traffic, shout at strangers, or carry stress all day. Someone with high emotional intelligence might feel the same frustration, but choose to stay calm, listen to music, or focus on reaching home safely. The situation is the same, but the emotional response changes everything. Emotional intelligence can be learned and improved at any age. Simple habits like naming your emotions, practicing empathy, and listening carefully can make a big difference. Journaling about feelings, meditating, or talking with trusted friends also helps build emotional awareness. Over time, these practices make it easier to stay calm under pressure and to connect deeply with others. As you think about emotional intelligence, remember that it is not about being perfect or never feeling negative emotions. It is about understanding those emotions so they do not control you. It is about using emotions as information instead of letting them become explosions. It is about building bridges between people instead of walls. The better we understand emotions, the stronger our connections become. Friendships grow deeper, families become closer, and workplaces become more supportive. Emotional intelligence turns ordinary conversations into moments of understanding and ordinary relationships into lasting bonds. In the next chapter, we will explore a powerful part of human connection that goes beyond words, body language. You will learn how people communicate through gestures, expressions, and movements, even when they say nothing at all, and how understanding this silent language can transform the way you connect with others. Chapter 5. The role of body language in communication. When people talk, they use words, but words are only part of the story. A huge part of communication happens without speaking at all. The way we stand, the movement of our hands, the expressions on our faces, even the way we look at someone or look away. These things send messages just as clearly as our voices. This silent part of communication is called body language, and it shapes how people understand each other in powerful ways. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. They say the right words, maybe even something polite, like "it's nice to meet you." But they do not smile, their arms are crossed, and they look around the room instead of at you. Even though the words are friendly, the body language feels cold or distant. Now imagine someone else who says the same words but with a warm smile, relaxed shoulders, and friendly eye contact. The words are the same, but the message feels completely different because of body language. Psychologists say that body language often carries more emotional meaning than words. People can say "I'm fine" out loud, while their tone and posture clearly show they are upset. Others can say "I'm listening" while looking at their phone the whole time, making you feel ignored. Our bodies reveal feelings even when our words try to hide them. That is why paying attention to body language helps us understand people more deeply and respond in ways that show empathy and respect. Different parts of the body send different signals. Facial expressions often show emotions most clearly. A genuine smile reaches the eyes, making them look warm and crinkled, while a fake smile usually stays only on the mouth. Raised eyebrows can show surprise or curiosity. A tense jaw or tight lips can show anger or stress, even before someone says a single word. Eye contact is another powerful signal. Looking at someone while they speak shows interest and respect, but staring too long can feel uncomfortable. Looking away too often can make someone seem shy, nervous, or even dishonest, depending on the situation. The right balance of eye contact helps people feel heard and understood. Posture also speaks loudly. Standing tall with open shoulders sends confidence. Leaning in slightly while someone talks shows attention and interest. Crossing arms tightly or turning the body away can signal defensiveness, discomfort, or disinterest. People often react to these signals without even realizing it. Gestures with the hands add meaning too. Open hands often show honesty and openness. Pointing can feel aggressive. Fidgeting or tapping can reveal nervousness. Sometimes gestures replace words entirely, like waving to say hello or shrugging to show uncertainty. Even the space between people sends messages. Standing very close can feel friendly in some situations, but invasive in others. Different cultures have different rules about personal space, and social intelligence means noticing those rules so people feel comfortable. Body language not only helps us understand others but also affects how people see us. Someone who speaks confidently but avoids eye contact may seem unsure. Someone who stays relaxed and open, even during a disagreement, may seem calm and trustworthy. Leaders, teachers, and friends all use body language to set the mood in conversations without even thinking about it. The good news is that we can improve our own body language with practice. Simple habits like standing up straight, keeping arms uncrossed, nodding while listening, and using genuine smiles help others feel comfortable around us. Watching skilled communicators like good teachers or public speakers can teach us how they use gestures, posture, and facial expressions to keep people engaged. It is also important to read body language with care because people have different personalities and cultural backgrounds. Some people naturally move less or keep neutral expressions even when they feel happy or interested. In some cultures, direct eye contact shows confidence in others. It can seem disrespectful. That is why social intelligence combines body language with context and empathy before making judgments. When you start noticing body language, conversations become richer. You begin to see when someone feels nervous, even if they stay quiet. You notice when a friend says they are okay but their face shows sadness. You recognize when someone feels excited because they lean forward, speak quickly, and use wide gestures. This awareness helps you respond in ways that build trust and connection. In the next chapter, we will look at how persuasion and influence work in human relationships. You will discover how people shape each other's decisions, why some voices are more convincing than others, and how these skills can be used in positive ways to inspire and lead rather than manipulate or control. Chapter 6: Understanding Persuasion and Influence. Every day, in ways big and small, people try to change each other's minds. A student convinces a teacher to give extra time for homework. A friend talks another friend into joining a sports team. Advertisements encourage people to buy products they never knew they wanted. Politicians give speeches to win votes. Parents guide children to make better choices. All of these moments involve persuasion and influence, two powerful forces that shape human behavior. Persuasion is the art of getting someone to believe something or do something through reasoning, emotion, or trust. Influence is the broader power to shape people's thoughts, feelings, and actions over time. Together they affect almost every part of our lives. Sometimes persuasion and influence happen directly, like a friend asking you to help them move furniture. Other times they are subtle, like a popular student at school, starting a fashion trend without saying a word. Psychologists have studied persuasion for many years to understand why some messages change minds while others fail. One key factor is credibility. People are more likely to be persuaded by someone they see as knowledgeable or trustworthy. If a science teacher explains why recycling helps the environment, students may listen carefully because the teacher seems like an expert. If a random stranger says the same thing, it might not have the same impact. Another factor is emotion. Facts and logic are important, but feelings often move people more strongly. A charity asking for donations might share statistics about poverty, but when they tell a moving story about one hungry child, people respond with more generosity. The story creates empathy, and empathy motivates action. Repetition also plays a role. Hearing the same message many times makes it feel familiar, and familiar things often feel true even when we do not think about them deeply. This is why advertisers show the same commercials again and again. Over time, the product becomes part of our memory, and we start to trust it more. The way a message is framed matters too. People react differently depending on whether something sounds positive or negative. Saying, "If you exercise, you will feel stronger and healthier," often works better than saying, "If you don't exercise, you will get sick." Both messages point to the same idea, but one inspires hope while the other uses fear. Hope usually persuades better because people like to move toward positive outcomes. Social proof is another powerful tool. When people see others doing something, they often want to do the same. If everyone in class starts using a new study app, more students will try it just because they see it is popular. This is why trends spread so quickly on social media. We trust the choices of groups, sometimes without stopping to question them. Authority can also influence people strongly. When a coach tells players to run laps, they listen because of the coach's position. When a doctor gives health advice, patients usually follow it because the doctor has training and experience. Authority combines trust, knowledge, and responsibility in a way that makes people take instruction seriously. But persuasion and influence are not always positive. Sometimes people use these skills to spread lies, sell harmful products, or pressure others into bad choices. History shows examples of leaders who used persuasion to gain power but caused great harm. That is why learning about persuasion is important, not just to use it well, but to recognize when it is being used against us in unfair ways. The best kind of persuasion respects people's freedom to choose. It offers reasons, tells honest stories, and appeals to both logic and emotion, without forcing anyone. A good leader, teacher, or friend uses persuasion to inspire, to share knowledge, and to help people make better decisions for themselves. Today, technology spreads persuasion and influence faster than ever before. Social media platforms show us endless messages, advertisements, and opinions. Some are helpful and true, others are misleading or false. Learning how persuasion works helps us stay thoughtful instead of believing everything we see. It teaches us to ask questions. Who is sending this message? What do they want? Do they have evidence? Are they appealing to my emotions more than my reason? At the same time, understanding persuasion lets us communicate our own ideas better. If you want to convince people to protect the environment, join a school club, or support a good cause, knowing how to speak clearly, tell stories, and build trust will help. Persuasion is a skill that grows with practice, reading and watching how effective communicators work. In friendships and families, persuasion often looks like compromise. People talk, listen, and try to see each other's point of view. Instead of arguing until one side wins, good persuasion finds common ground where everyone feels respected. As you learn about persuasion and influence, remember that real power lies in using them responsibly. The goal is not to control people, but to share ideas, inspire action, and create understanding. When persuasion comes from honesty, empathy, and respect, it builds trust instead of breaking it. In the next chapter, we will explore empathy in depth. You will see why feeling what others feel is at the heart of human connection, how empathy makes persuasion more meaningful, and how it turns ordinary relationships into bonds of trust and care. Chapter 7. Building Empathy, the core of social skills. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It is like stepping into someone else's shoes and seeing the world through their eyes. When you feel happy because your friend wins a race, or sad because a classmate loses a loved one, that is empathy at work. It connects people on a level beyond words, creating bonds of trust, care, and understanding. Human beings are social by nature. We live, learn, and grow in communities. Empathy is what makes these communities strong, because it allows people to care about each other's experiences. Without empathy, everyone would be locked inside their own world, focused only on themselves. Relationships would feel empty and cold. Empathy warms them, turning strangers into friends and friends into families. Scientists say empathy has two main parts: feeling and understanding. Feeling empathy means your heart reacts to someone's emotions. If your little brother falls and cries, you might feel a pinch of sadness in your chest even before you help him up. Understanding empathy means using your mind to imagine what the other person is going through. You may not feel the exact same pain, but you can picture it and respond with kindness. Both parts together make empathy powerful. Empathy starts early in life. Small children sometimes cry when they hear another child cry, even if nothing happened to them. As people grow older, empathy becomes more complex. Teenagers and adults learn to read not only obvious signs like tears or laughter, but also subtle clues like tone of voice or body language. A friend may say, "I'm fine," but a quiet voice or slumped shoulders may tell you they are not fine at all. Empathy notices those small signals and responds with care. In friendships, empathy keeps relationships strong. Friends argue sometimes, feel jealous, or make mistakes. Empathy helps them see each other's side, forgive, and move on. Without empathy, arguments turn into walls between people. With it, conflicts become opportunities to understand each other better. At school, empathy helps students include those who feel left out. Maybe a new student sits alone at lunch. Someone with empathy notices and invites them to join. This small act can change someone's whole day and even their view of themselves. Teachers use empathy too. A teacher who understands that a student is struggling at home may offer extra help instead of punishment when homework is late. In families, empathy builds closeness between parents and children. A parent who listens patiently when a teenager talks about problems at school shows empathy. They may not have all the answers, but the act of listening itself makes the teenager feel valued. Children who grow up in empathetic homes often learn to treat others with the same kindness. Empathy matters in the larger world too. When people from different countries, cultures, or religions show empathy toward each other, conflicts decrease and cooperation grows. Leaders who understand the struggles of their people make better decisions. Communities where neighbors care about one another become safer and happier places to live. But empathy is not always easy. Sometimes people are so busy with their own lives that they forget to notice others. Sometimes differences in culture, language, or opinions make it hard to understand someone else's feelings. And sometimes empathy can be tiring when we hear too many sad stories or feel powerless to help. The good news is that empathy can be learned and strengthened, just like a muscle. Listening is the first step. Many people listen only to reply, not to understand. True empathy listens with full attention, without interrupting, without planning the next thing to say. It focuses completely on the other person's words, tone, and feelings. Another way to build empathy is to read books or watch movies that show different lives and experiences. Stories let us live inside other people's worlds for a while. We begin to feel what characters feel, even though they are fictional. This practice expands our ability to understand real people in real life. Spending time with people from different backgrounds also grows empathy. When you hear about someone's struggles, dreams, or fears directly from them, stereotypes and assumptions fade. You see them as individuals, not as labels. Empathy also requires curiosity. Asking gentle questions like, "How are you feeling about this?" or "What was that like for you?" shows you care enough to understand. It opens the door for people to share their real feelings. In friendships, families, workplaces, and communities, empathy creates trust. People open up when they feel understood. Teams work better when members respect each other's emotions. Even strangers can connect through small acts of empathy, like helping someone carry heavy bags or offering directions when they look lost. Empathy also connects closely with emotional intelligence. Both involve noticing feelings, our own and others, and responding wisely. Without empathy, emotional intelligence would be incomplete, because understanding emotions without caring about them does not build real relationships. As you practice empathy, you may notice changes in yourself too. Understanding others often makes us more patient, less judgmental, and more grateful for our own lives. It reminds us that everyone carries invisible stories, joys, and struggles. This awareness makes the world feel less divided and more human. In the next chapter, we will explore a challenge many people face: social anxiety and shyness. You will see how fear of judgment or rejection can hold people back, and how empathy, both for ourselves and others, can help overcome these barriers to connection. Chapter 8: Overcoming Social Anxiety and Shyness. For many people, the idea of talking to strangers, speaking in front of a group, or even joining a conversation with classmates brings a feeling of nervousness. Their heart beats faster, their palms sweat, and their mind races with thoughts like, "What if I say something wrong?" or "What if they laugh at me?" This feeling is called social anxiety. It is more than just being shy. Shyness is a personality trait where people feel a little reserved or quiet around others. Social anxiety goes deeper. It brings fear of being judged or embarrassed, even in everyday situations. Social anxiety can make people avoid eye contact, stay silent in groups, or skip events where they might have to talk to others. Sometimes they want to join in, but feel frozen by fear. Even when people know their worries are bigger than the situation itself, the anxiety still feels real. The good news is that social anxiety and shyness do not have to control a person's life. These feelings can be understood, managed, and slowly reduced with patience and practice. Psychologists explain that anxiety comes partly from our mind's way of protecting us. Long ago, humans survived by staying alert to danger. Today, our brains sometimes treat social situations like danger too, even though speaking in class is not the same as facing a wild animal. Knowing this helps people see that anxiety is not a personal weakness, but a natural reaction that has grown too strong. One way to manage social anxiety is to start small. Instead of trying to give a speech to the whole school, someone might begin by saying hello to a classmate or asking a teacher a question after class. Each small step builds confidence, like climbing one step at a time, instead of trying to jump to the top of a staircase. Over time, the mind learns that social situations are not as dangerous as they feel. Breathing exercises can also help. When anxiety rises, breathing becomes fast and shallow, which makes the body feel even more nervous. Slowing the breath, counting slowly while inhaling and exhaling, tells the body to calm down. Many athletes, actors, and public speakers use breathing techniques before big events because a calm body helps create a calm mind. Another helpful skill is focusing on the other person instead of yourself. People with social anxiety often think, "What if I look silly?" or "What if they think I'm boring?" But most people are busy thinking about themselves, not judging others. Asking questions, listening carefully, and showing interest in the other person takes the spotlight off your own worries and makes conversations flow more easily. Changing negative thoughts is important too. Social anxiety often whispers lies like "everyone is watching you" or "you always mess up." Writing these thoughts down and then answering them with facts helps. For example, "I made one mistake, but people moved on quickly," or "others speak imperfectly too, and no one minds." Over time, the brain learns to replace fear with more balanced thinking. Practicing social skills also builds confidence. Joining clubs, volunteering, or working on group projects gives people a chance to talk and cooperate in low-pressure settings. Each positive experience adds to the belief that social interactions can be safe and even enjoyable. Support from friends, family, or counselors makes a big difference. Talking about anxiety out loud often makes it feel less heavy. Sometimes professional help, like therapy, teaches specific strategies such as cognitive behavioral techniques, which are proven to reduce social anxiety by changing thought patterns and behaviors step by step. It is also important to be kind to yourself. Many people with social anxiety feel frustrated, wishing they could be outgoing overnight, but confidence grows gradually. Celebrating small successes, like joining a conversation or making eye contact, encourages further progress. Shyness, on the other hand, is not always a problem. Some people are naturally quiet, but still enjoy deep conversations with close friends rather than large groups. The goal is not to turn every shy person into a loudspeaker, but to help them feel comfortable when they want to connect with others. Social intelligence includes many styles of communication, from thoughtful listeners to energetic talkers. Interestingly, empathy and social anxiety often go together. People who worry a lot about what others think sometimes care deeply about others' feelings too. As they build confidence, this sensitivity can become a strength, helping them connect with kindness and understanding. Overcoming social anxiety does not mean becoming fearless. It means learning that fear does not have to stop you. Nervousness before a speech or meeting new people is normal. Even famous actors and leaders feel it. The difference is that they keep going despite the feeling, because experience has taught them they can handle it. As people practice, their brain slowly rewires itself. What once felt terrifying starts to feel normal. Speaking in front of a class the first time may feel impossible. The 10th time may feel only a little scary. The 20th time might even feel exciting. Each step forward proves to the mind that it can survive and even succeed in social situations. In the next chapter, we will learn how to read people accurately. You will discover how body language, tone, and small details reveal what others feel, even when they do not say it out loud. This skill turns ordinary conversations into deeper connections because you will understand the emotions behind the words. Chapter 9. How to read people accurately. Understanding people is like solving a puzzle. Every person you meet shows pieces of who they are through words, actions, expressions, and even silence. Some pieces are clear and easy to read, like a big smile that shows happiness. Other pieces are hidden or confusing, like a quiet tone that could mean sadness, shyness, or just tiredness. Learning to read people accurately is one of the most valuable social skills because it helps you connect better, avoid misunderstandings, and respond in ways that make relationships stronger. Reading people starts with paying attention. Many people listen to words but ignore everything else. They focus on what someone says without noticing how they say it or what their body is doing at the same time. Yet most communication is nonverbal. Scientists say that tone of voice, facial expressions, gestures, and posture carry more meaning than words alone. When someone says "I'm fine" with a trembling voice or tight shoulders, the body tells a different story than the words. Eyes reveal more than we realize. Someone who avoids eye contact may feel nervous, shy, or even guilty, while someone who holds eye contact comfortably often seems confident or trustworthy. But it is important to read eye contact in context. Some people naturally look away when thinking or talking. Some cultures see long eye contact as respectful, others see it as rude. Accuracy comes from combining eye contact with other signals instead of judging one clue alone. Tone of voice carries emotion too. The same sentence can sound kind, angry, bored, or excited depending on pitch, speed, and volume. A soft, slow voice may show sadness or tiredness. A loud, fast voice may show excitement or frustration. Words tell you the facts, but tone tells you the feelings behind the facts. Facial expressions give the clearest clues. Happiness often shows in the eyes before it reaches the mouth. Real smiles create small lines around the eyes, while fake smiles stay stiff and flat. Raised eyebrows can signal surprise or curiosity. A wrinkled forehead may show worry or confusion. People all over the world share similar expressions for basic emotions like joy, fear, anger, sadness, and disgust. This means you can often understand feelings even across language barriers. Body language adds even more pieces to the puzzle. Crossed arms can mean someone feels defensive, cold, or simply comfortable in that position. Leaning forward can show interest. Turning away can signal discomfort or disinterest. Fidgeting hands or bouncing legs often show nervous energy. But again, accuracy requires looking at the whole picture. A person might cross their arms because the room is cold, not because they feel angry. Empathy helps a lot in this process. When you try to imagine what someone might be feeling, you naturally pay closer attention to clues. You start asking yourself, if I were in their place, how would I feel? What might I need right now? This attitude keeps you curious instead of judgmental, which improves accuracy. Situations matter too. People act differently in classrooms, at home, with close friends, or around strangers. Someone who seems quiet in a big group might be funny and talkative with one or two close friends. Reading people accurately means noticing patterns over time, not making quick judgments based on one moment. But reading people accurately does not mean assuming you are always right. The same clue can mean different things for different people. The best approach is to notice patterns, stay open-minded, and sometimes simply ask. Saying, "You seem a little upset. Am I right?" shows care and gives the other person a chance to explain. Accuracy grows with practice. Watching movies or reading books where characters have strong emotions helps train your brain to notice expressions, tones, and reactions. Real-life practice comes from paying attention during conversations without staring or making people uncomfortable. Over time, you learn to connect different clues into a clear picture of what someone feels. It also helps to listen between the words. Sometimes what people do not say speaks loudly. A friend might change the subject quickly when certain topics come up, hinting at discomfort. Someone might give short answers, even though they normally talk a lot, signaling that something is wrong. Silence, hesitation, or sudden changes in behavior can reveal feelings people are not ready to talk about directly. Reading people well makes relationships deeper. When friends feel understood without explaining every detail, they trust you more. When teachers notice students' confusion before anyone asks a question, learning improves. When leaders sense team stress early, they can offer support before problems grow. In the next chapter, we will explore one of the most powerful yet often forgotten skills in human connection: listening. You will see how real listening goes beyond staying quiet while someone speaks. It builds trust, reduces conflict, and makes people feel truly valued in ways words alone cannot. Chapter 10: The Power of Listening in Social Success. When most people think about communication, they imagine talking, speaking in front of a group, or sharing ideas with confidence. But the truth is that one of the most powerful parts of communication is not talking at all. It is listening. Real listening goes beyond simply staying quiet while someone else speaks. It means focusing fully on the other person, understanding their words and feelings, and showing that what they say matters to you. Listening may sound simple, but it can change relationships, build trust, and create social success in ways many people overlook. Think about a time when you tried to explain something important to someone, and they kept interrupting or looking at their phone. Even if they heard your words, it probably felt like they did not care. Now think about a time when someone gave you their full attention, nodding, making eye contact, and asking thoughtful questions. That conversation likely felt different, more meaningful, even if they did not give you advice or solutions. The difference is listening. Listening works on several levels. The first is hearing the actual words. This seems obvious, but many people only half listen while planning what they will say next. Real listening means putting your own thoughts aside for a moment and giving all your focus to the speaker. The second level is understanding the meaning behind the words. Someone might say, "I'm tired," but their tone, posture, and expression may reveal frustration or sadness instead of simple exhaustion. A good listener notices these clues. They hear not only the surface message, but also the feelings underneath. The third level of listening is responding in a way that shows you care. Sometimes people want advice, but often they just want to feel heard. Simple responses like "that sounds tough," or "I can see why you feel that way," show empathy and respect. It tells the speaker that their feelings matter, that someone is paying attention. Listening also builds trust. When people feel heard, they feel valued. They open up more, share more honestly, and form closer bonds. Friendships grow stronger when both people listen to each other instead of competing to talk. Families solve problems better when parents and children listen carefully instead of shouting over each other. In schools, listening helps students and teachers understand each other. A teacher who listens to students' questions and struggles can adjust lessons to help everyone learn better. Students who listen carefully understand instructions, avoid mistakes, and respect their classmates' ideas. At work, listening separates good leaders from great ones. A boss who listens to employees' concerns earns loyalty and respect. A team where members listen to each other avoids confusion, reduces conflicts, and works more efficiently. Listening saves time, because fewer misunderstandings mean fewer problems to fix later. Listening also helps in solving disagreements. Many arguments grow worse because each side wants to talk, but no one wants to listen. When people feel ignored, they repeat themselves louder or become defensive. But when someone truly listens, tempers cool down. People stop shouting when they believe their message has been heard. Real listening opens the door to compromise and solutions. Another secret of listening is patience. Silence in a conversation often feels uncomfortable, so people rush to fill it with words. But sometimes, silence gives the speaker time to think and share more deeply. A patient listener waits, allowing the other person to finish their thoughts completely before responding. Listening improves persuasion too. When you understand someone's needs, fears, or desires, because you listened carefully, you can communicate in ways that connect to them personally. Salespeople, teachers, and leaders all use listening to learn before they speak. It makes their words more effective because they address what the other person truly cares about. But listening is not just about others. It helps us too. When we listen carefully, we learn new ideas, discover different perspectives, and understand the world better. People who only talk never learn beyond what they already know. People who listen grow wiser because they gather knowledge from everyone they meet. Technology has made listening harder in some ways. Phones, social media, and constant notifications steal attention. Many people listen with one ear while scrolling on a screen with their eyes. Real listening requires turning off distractions and giving someone your full presence. In today's busy world, undivided attention feels rare and valuable, which is why it makes such a big impact. Listening also connects closely to empathy. When you listen, you step into another person's world for a moment. You feel what they feel and see things from their point of view. Even if you disagree, listening shows respect. It says, "Your thoughts matter enough for me to understand them fully before I respond." Practicing listening can start small. Put away your phone during conversations. Repeat back what someone said in your own words to check if you understood correctly. Ask questions that invite deeper answers instead of simple yes or no responses. Most importantly, resist the urge to interrupt or turn the topic back to yourself too quickly. Over time, good listeners become great friends, partners, leaders, and teammates. People naturally trust those who make them feel heard. Opportunities often come to listeners because others know they pay attention. Remember details and handle conversations with care. In the next chapter, we will explore the hidden side of communication, the subtle social cues and unspoken signals that shape conversations even when no one realizes it. Understanding these quiet messages will take your social intelligence to a new level, where you can read the room and respond with confidence in any situation. Every conversation carries two layers. The first layer is made of words, the things people actually say. The second layer is silent but just as powerful. It comes through facial expressions, tone of voice, pauses, gestures, and small behaviors that often say more than the words themselves. These signals are called social cues, and they carry hidden meanings that shape how we understand each other. Social cues are everywhere. A teacher raising an eyebrow without speaking might signal that the class should quiet down. A friend looking at their watch repeatedly during a conversation might be hinting that they need to leave. Someone stepping back slightly when you move closer might be showing they want more personal space. These clues are subtle, but they guide the rhythm of interactions and help us respond in ways that feel natural and respectful. Reading social cues accurately takes practice, because people rarely explain them directly. Imagine telling a joke in a group. Some people laugh loudly, some smile softly, and some stay silent. If you notice the silence, you might realize one person did not find it funny, or perhaps felt uncomfortable. That awareness comes from reading the hidden signals, not from anything they said. Tone of voice is one of the strongest social cues. The same sentence can mean many things depending on how it is spoken. "I can't believe you did that" might sound playful with a smile, or angry with a sharp tone. People often react more to the tone than to the actual words because tone carries emotion that words alone cannot show. Timing also matters. Long pauses before answering can signal hesitation, discomfort, or deep thought. Speaking too quickly might show nervousness or excitement. Interrupting often can make someone seem impatient, while waiting for the right moment to talk shows respect. Conversations flow better when people pay attention to this rhythm instead of rushing through words. Facial expressions add more clues. A smile can mean happiness, but it can also hide nervousness or even sarcasm depending on the situation. Raised eyebrows might show surprise, while a wrinkled forehead can reveal worry even if the person says they are fine. The key is to look at several cues together instead of focusing on only one. Body language works the same way. Someone leaning forward may signal interest. Crossing arms tightly might show defensiveness, or simply that the room feels cold. A person tapping their foot could be bored, anxious, or just keeping time with music in their head. Social cues rarely give answers by themselves. They make sense when combined with context, tone, and words. Culture shapes social cues as well. In some places, standing close during conversation feels friendly. In others, it feels uncomfortable. Direct eye contact shows confidence in some cultures, but disrespect in others. People with high social intelligence stay aware of these differences so they do not misread signals from someone with a different background. Ignoring social cues often leads to awkward or frustrating moments. Talking endlessly when someone keeps glancing at the clock may annoy them. Missing the hint in someone's sad tone may make them feel unheard. On the other hand, noticing these signals lets you adjust. You might shorten the conversation when someone seems busy, or ask gently if they are okay when their smile seems forced. Social cues also help in group settings. In classrooms, teachers notice when students start shifting in their seats, signaling boredom or confusion, so they change the activity. In meetings, leaders read faces to see if people agree, disagree, or look uncertain. Skilled communicators constantly pick up these signals to guide what they say and how they say it. Sometimes people send mixed signals. They may say they are fine while looking down and speaking softly. They may smile while clenching their fists. In these cases, it helps to ask directly, but kindly, "Are you sure everything is okay?" Giving people a chance to explain avoids wrong assumptions while showing you care. Learning to read social cues well makes conversations smoother and relationships stronger. It prevents misunderstandings because you respond not just to words, but to feelings. It also makes people feel respected because they see that you notice their needs even when they do not say them out loud. In the next chapter, we will explore what happens when social situations become tense or disagreements arise. You will learn how conflict resolution and negotiation skills can turn arguments into understanding and make relationships stronger instead of weaker. Chapter 12. Mastering conflict resolution and negotiation. No matter how kind, friendly, or understanding people are, conflicts happen. Friends argue, families disagree, classmates compete, and co-workers see things differently. Conflict itself is not always bad. Sometimes it brings out new ideas, clears misunderstandings, or helps people grow closer after solving a problem together. But when conflicts are handled poorly, they can create anger, distance, and broken relationships. That is why learning conflict resolution and negotiation is such an important part of social intelligence. Conflict resolution means finding peaceful solutions when people disagree. Negotiation means working toward an agreement where everyone feels heard and respected. These skills turn tense situations into opportunities for understanding instead of battles where one side wins and the other side loses. The first step in resolving conflict is staying calm. Anger pushes people to shout, interrupt, and say things they later regret. Calmness opens the door to listening and understanding. Listening is the next key step. Many conflicts grow worse because people talk past each other instead of listening carefully. One side explains their feelings while the other side prepares their response instead of truly hearing the words. Real listening means focusing on the other person's point of view, asking questions to understand better, and showing that their feelings matter even if you disagree with their opinion. After listening comes empathy. Empathy does not mean agreeing with everything the other person says. It means seeing the situation through their eyes for a moment. When someone feels understood, their anger often softens because they realize the other person cares enough to imagine their perspective. Clear and respectful communication follows empathy. Using calm words like "I feel upset when" works better than blaming words like "you always" or "you never," because blaming puts people on the defensive. Describing your own feelings and needs invites cooperation instead of pushing people away. Negotiation begins when both sides share what they want and look for common ground. It is not about one person winning everything while the other loses. It is about finding solutions where both sides give a little and gain a little. In friendships, this might mean choosing a movie together instead of fighting over which one to watch. In workplaces, it might mean adjusting deadlines so everyone can manage their work better. Sometimes compromise solves conflicts quickly. Both sides agree to meet in the middle, and the problem ends. Other times, creativity is needed to find solutions that satisfy everyone. Skilled negotiators think of new options instead of staying stuck in one position. Patience matters throughout the process. Some conflicts cannot be solved in one conversation. People may need time to calm down, think about the problem, or gather more information before agreeing on a solution. Rushing often leads to decisions that do not last. Respect is the foundation of all conflict resolution. Even when people strongly disagree, treating each other with respect keeps communication open. Shouting, insulting, or ignoring only makes the problem bigger. Respectful disagreement allows people to stay connected while searching for answers together. In schools, conflict resolution helps students work in groups, share resources, and get along despite differences. At home, it keeps families close even when parents and children see things differently. In workplaces, it prevents small arguments from turning into major problems that hurt teams and projects. Leaders with good negotiation skills bring people together instead of dividing them. They make sure everyone feels heard, guide conversations toward solutions, and help people stay calm under pressure. Teams trust leaders who solve conflicts fairly because it shows strength, wisdom, and care for everyone involved. Learning conflict resolution also helps people avoid unnecessary fights. Many arguments start from misunderstandings. A calm question like, "Did you mean this?" often clears confusion before it grows into anger. Humor, when used kindly, can also reduce tension and remind people that relationships matter more than winning arguments. The goal of conflict resolution is not to avoid all disagreements, but to handle them in ways that make relationships stronger instead of weaker. Each solved conflict teaches people about patience, empathy, and problem solving, making future conflicts easier to handle. In the next chapter, we will see how social intelligence and leadership connect. You will discover how great leaders use empathy, communication, and negotiation not only to guide people but also to inspire them, creating teams and communities that work together with trust and respect. Chapter 13: Leadership and Social Intelligence. Leadership is often seen as the ability to make decisions, give instructions, and guide people toward a goal. While these things are important, real leadership is about much more than telling others what to do. The best leaders do not just direct, they connect. They understand people's feelings, needs, and motivations. They build trust, encourage teamwork, and create environments where everyone can succeed. This is why social intelligence is at the heart of great leadership. Social intelligence helps leaders read the emotions of individuals and groups. A teacher leading a classroom, a coach guiding a team, or a manager running a company all face moments when people feel stressed, confused, or unmotivated. A leader with social intelligence notices these feelings early. Instead of ignoring them, they respond with empathy and support, keeping the group focused and positive. Communication is another key skill of leadership, and social intelligence makes it stronger. Leaders who explain ideas clearly, listen carefully, and adjust their tone based on the situation inspire confidence. They know when to give encouragement, when to share information, and when to simply listen so people feel heard. Trust grows when leaders treat people with respect and fairness. A leader who yells, criticizes harshly, or shows favoritism loses trust quickly. In contrast, A leader who praises effort, gives constructive feedback, and admits mistakes creates a culture where people feel safe to speak openly. Social intelligence helps leaders balance authority with kindness, so people respect them without feeling afraid. Motivation also depends on social intelligence. Different people are motivated by different things. Some want recognition, some want responsibility, and some want to feel part of a team. Leaders who understand these differences can give the right kind of encouragement to each person. A simple thank you, a chance to share ideas, or a moment of public appreciation can inspire people to do their best work. Conflict often arises in groups, and this is where leadership and social intelligence work together powerfully. Instead of taking sides or ignoring problems, skilled leaders bring people together to talk, listen, and find solutions. They stay calm under pressure and help others stay calm too. This turns conflicts into opportunities for learning and teamwork rather than division. Great leaders also know how to inspire rather than control. People may follow orders out of fear, but they give their best effort when they feel inspired. Leaders who share a clear vision, speak with passion, and show care for their team's well-being create loyalty that lasts even during challenges. Social intelligence helps leaders understand what inspires people and how to communicate that inspiration effectively. Examples of socially intelligent leadership appear everywhere. A student council president who listens to classmates before making decisions earns respect. A sports team captain who encourages players after a loss keeps the team united. A company manager who checks on employees' stress levels before assigning more work prevents burnout. These leaders succeed because they balance tasks with relationships. Social intelligence also helps leaders adapt to change. In fast-moving situations, people often feel anxious or uncertain. A leader who recognizes these emotions can offer reassurance, explain the next steps clearly, and keep everyone focused on solutions instead of problems. Another important part of leadership is developing future leaders. People trust and follow leaders who help them grow. By giving others responsibility, guidance, and confidence, leaders multiply their impact. Social intelligence allows leaders to see potential in people who might not see it in themselves, and to encourage them toward bigger roles. Leadership without social intelligence can feel cold and mechanical. Orders get followed, but creativity, trust, and motivation fade. Leadership with social intelligence creates energy, loyalty, and progress because people feel valued as humans, not just as workers or students. As you think about leadership, remember that it is not limited to titles or positions. Anyone can lead when they bring people together, solve problems, and inspire others toward a goal. A classmate organizing a study group, a friend helping resolve an argument, or a sibling caring for younger brothers and sisters are all practicing leadership. Social intelligence turns these everyday moments into examples of real influence. In the next chapter, we will explore how to maintain long-term relationships. You will learn how trust, communication, and emotional intelligence keep friendships, families, and professional connections strong over years instead of fading with time. Chapter 14. Maintaining long-term relationships. Building relationships can be exciting in the beginning. Friendships start with laughter and shared interests. Families feel close during happy moments like holidays or birthdays. Professional connections grow when people work well together on projects, but starting a relationship is only the first step. The real challenge and the real reward comes from maintaining relationships over time. Long-term relationships need care, just like plants need water and sunlight to grow. Without attention, even strong connections can weaken. People get busy, misunderstandings happen, or small conflicts grow into big problems. Social intelligence helps people notice these changes early and take steps to keep relationships healthy. One key to long-term relationships is communication. Talking openly and honestly prevents small issues from turning into bigger ones. When friends or family members hide their feelings, resentment can slowly build. On the other hand, Sharing thoughts calmly, even during disagreements, keeps trust alive. Good communication is not just about speaking clearly, it is also about listening carefully and trying to understand the other person's point of view. Another important part is appreciation. Over time, people sometimes start taking each other for granted. A friend always helps with homework, a parent always cooks meals, or a coworker always meets deadlines. When their efforts go unnoticed, they may feel unvalued. Simple words like "thank you" or "I appreciate what you did" remind people that their contributions matter. Spending time together also keeps relationships strong. Families grow closer when they share meals or activities. Friends stay connected when they talk regularly or plan fun events together. Even in professional relationships, small moments of teamwork or casual conversations build trust that lasts beyond the workplace. Conflict will happen in long-term relationships because no two people agree on everything. The difference between relationships that survive and those that break apart often lies in how people handle disagreements. Using calm voices, focusing on solutions instead of blame, and apologizing when wrong all help repair trust after conflicts. Forgiveness is another key. Holding on to anger or mistakes from the past creates distance. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or ignoring problems. It means choosing to move forward instead of staying stuck in hurt feelings. People who forgive keep relationships open for growth and change. Flexibility matters too. People change over time. Friends develop new interests. Family members face new challenges. Co-workers switch jobs. Strong relationships adapt instead of expecting everything to stay the same forever. Social intelligence helps people understand and accept these changes while staying connected in meaningful ways. Long-term relationships also need boundaries. Caring deeply for someone does not mean agreeing with everything they say or do. Healthy boundaries let people stay close while respecting each other's independence. For example, a friend may need quiet time alone sometimes, or a coworker may not want to talk about personal matters at work. Respecting these limits keeps relationships balanced and comfortable. Trust grows slowly but can break quickly. Honesty, reliability, and respect keep trust strong over years. Small actions matter. Keeping promises, arriving on time, telling the truth even when it is difficult. Each choice builds a record of trust that supports the relationship through challenges. Shared memories also hold relationships together. Families telling old stories, friends laughing about past adventures, or coworkers celebrating team successes create a sense of history. These memories remind people why they value each other even when life gets busy or stressful. Technology offers new ways to maintain long-term relationships. Messages, calls, and video chats help people stay connected across distances. But technology works best when combined with real attention and care, not as a replacement for meaningful conversations. In the next chapter, we will explore how digital communication itself affects relationships. You will see the benefits and challenges of staying connected online and learn how to keep technology from weakening real human connection. Chapter 15. The Journey to Social Intelligence Mastery. Reaching the end of this journey does not mean the learning stops here. Social intelligence is not something you achieve once and then forget. It is a skill that grows over a lifetime, shaped by every conversation, every friendship, every challenge, and every connection you make with the people around you. Throughout this audiobook, we have explored how human behavior works and how emotions, communication, empathy, listening, and relationships all fit together. Each chapter built on the last, showing how understanding people leads to stronger connections, better teamwork, and more meaningful lives. Now it is time to bring everything together and see what it means to master social intelligence. Mastery does not mean perfection. No one handles every situation perfectly. Even the most skilled communicators sometimes say the wrong thing, misunderstand someone's feelings, or feel nervous in new situations. Mastery means learning from these moments instead of giving up. It means staying curious about people, paying attention to emotions, and practicing the skills that make relationships stronger day by day. At its core, Social intelligence starts with self-awareness. You cannot understand others if you do not understand yourself. Knowing your own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, and habits helps you communicate honestly and kindly. Self-awareness also keeps you humble because you realize everyone has limits, including you. From there, empathy opens the door to others' experiences. When you imagine what life feels like for someone else, you begin to see the world in richer detail. You notice struggles behind someone's silence, pride behind someone's smile, or fear behind someone's anger. This deeper understanding turns ordinary interactions into moments of real connection. Listening, as we learned, is the bridge between empathy and action. When people feel truly heard, they trust you more. They open up, share ideas, and work with you instead of against you. Listening creates the foundation for persuasion, conflict resolution, and leadership because it shows respect before you ask for respect in return. Relationships thrive on these skills combined. Families grow closer when people talk openly, forgive mistakes, and celebrate successes together. Friendships last longer when people respect boundaries, handle conflicts calmly, and make time for each other even during busy seasons of life. Professional connections become stronger when leaders inspire rather than control, when co-workers support each other, and when teams solve problems with cooperation instead of competition. Technology adds both opportunities and challenges to this journey. It allows people to stay connected across cities, countries, and even continents. But it can also create distractions, misunderstandings, or shallow conversations if used carelessly. Mastering social intelligence today means learning to balance digital tools with real human presence. The message or call keeps relationships alive, but eye contact, laughter, and shared experiences keep them meaningful. Another part of mastery is adaptability. Life brings change, new jobs, new schools, new friends, and unexpected challenges. Social intelligence helps you adjust gracefully, meet new people with confidence, and keep old relationships strong, even when circumstances shift. People who adapt well carry their social skills everywhere, building communities wherever they go. Leadership grows naturally from social intelligence. When you understand people, listen well, and communicate clearly, others look to you for guidance. Leadership then becomes less about control and more about service, helping people succeed together, supporting them in hard times, and inspiring them toward goals bigger than themselves. The journey also involves self-compassion. Along the way, you will make mistakes. You might misread someone's feelings, lose your temper, or say something you regret. Social intelligence grows when you forgive yourself, learn the lesson, and try again with more wisdom than before. Mastery shows itself in small, everyday moments. It appears when you comfort a friend, include someone left out, solve a disagreement peacefully, or inspire a team to keep going after failure. It appears when you listen deeply to someone's story, understand their emotions, and respond with kindness instead of judgment. The final lesson is that social intelligence never really ends. Every person you meet teaches you something new about life, emotions, or relationships. Every challenge pushes you to grow in patience, empathy, or courage. The more you practice, the more natural these skills become, until they are simply part of who you are. As you leave this audiobook behind, think about the people in your life: family, friends, classmates, co-workers, neighbors. Each relationship is a chance to practice what you have learned. Each conversation is an opportunity to listen better, understand deeper, and connect more meaningfully. Social intelligence mastery is not about impressing people with charm or clever words. It is about making people feel valued, respected, and understood. When you do that, you make the world around you kinder, stronger, and more connected, one interaction at a time. And so the journey continues, not in these pages, but in your life, in the choices you make, the words you speak, and the relationships you build from this day forward.